fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio.
Yeah.
The world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I Shawn, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in the Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Woo! We in the building. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. You already know what it is. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. We are here. We are in the building. We talking crazy today. But there's a lot of news and things going on out there. First off, shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one here. Had to hustle to get in here. I'm telling you, everything that could go wrong went wrong today. On the way in, they closing exits. They ain't saying nothing, no signs posted. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. But made it in here today. Excuse the tardiness. You know how we get down, man. But we are here, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We in the building early, and we talking about it today, man. What does your project car need versus what you want? I think everybody has that problem. A lot of times you find yourself going, yo, I really, really, really want to get your car running. And you're like, I could just get this little part here to get the car running, or I could spend another $1,000 on this big brake kit and really get it popping when it come out. And a lot of people make that mistake, man. I'm going to tell you, shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. We appreciate y'all early, man. It's the bearded one here, man. It was a grizzly, certified grizzly to get in here, man. But I'm here, man. I'm here. And I know y'all see the current events. I know y'all see the things that's going on. It's getting hot in the city. It's getting hot in the city right now, man. We got a real, looks like the feds is knocking on everybody's door, man. Everybody gonna be giving up the cookies in a minute. But it's neither here nor there, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate y'all early, man. I'm gonna tell you, driving the Type R coming in today, and as I'm coming in, it just starts like raining. First, it's like a little misty drizz. We could deal with that, right? But then out of nowhere, it just started really, really, really powering on. I'm like, wow. And you wouldn't believe how many people just turn like, yo, I'm just going to slow down and hit my brakes. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it is not that bad. It did start raining, but it's not that bad. Why is it that people lose all of their intelligence when it starts raining? Why is that? I don't know. It's actually annoying. I couldn't understand it to save my life. I said, yo, guy's moving it in front of me. We driving, he's moving it. And now it started raining. I'm like, yo, bro, you got to get out my way then, because I got somewhere I got to be. Period. Point blank in the story. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is, man. We appreciate everybody. We talking about it today, man. People getting locked up out here, man. People getting locked up out here. People getting in trouble. I know y'all seen the dude that went through the Midtown Tunnel. He was a ride share service. Picked people up that had to go to the hospital. Gets caught at the Midtown Tunnel with ghost plates. That's crazy. Not only does he get caught with ghost plates, what does he do? He throttles it and takes off into the Midtown Tunnel. He got 3 women in the back. One of them had to go to the hospital crazy. And he's wilding behind the steering wheel. Got caught in the Midtown Tunnel. Don't even know if these people made it to their doctor's appointments. It was a crazy day yesterday. And I mean, every time you turn around, you had the dude that drilled the hole in the... I don't even know if people heard about that. The guy, the company that was working for New York City, I guess they were doing some sort of excavating or whatever. They was trying to get ready. And some sort of scientific thing they was looking at. Who knows? They ended up drilling a hole in the Midtown Tunnel. People driving through the Midtown. Now, I know if you're paying attention, there's a good chance you're from NY. And if you're not, we're going to explain it to you. The Midtown Tunnel connects, it's a faster way to go from Queens to Manhattan, right? Obviously, it costs, right? In the midst of this, though, you know when you go in that tunnel, there's no weather there. So you're going to get a lot of people. Shout out to my guy, Coach K. He's in the building early. Shout out to my guy, Coach K. He's here. What's going on, Coach? So the guy is, the people are driving, and next thing you know, all you see is water coming out the ceiling in the Midtown Tunnel. Like, whoa. Now, you and me both know ain't supposed to be no water down there. They ended up shutting the tunnel down for about a couple hours. Shout out to my guy, Darth Spalding's in the building as well. You already know what it is. Shout out to everybody who's there paying attention. They drilled a hole in the Midtown Tunnel to the point where it was leaking. They had to close it for like 5 hours. And I'm talking rush hour. That's crazy. And I don't know if they fixed it. And how do they fix that? Either way, the company that they paid, apparently, like I said, they were doing some sort of excavating. They, not only did they go through 50 feet of water and 50 feet of mud, they actually went to the next top of it and drilled a hole into the steel that's on top of the Midtown Tunnel and right through it. Boop! Next thing you know, they got water coming in through the tube. This is crazy. All I could think was, yo, at this point, man, could you imagine if that tunnel flood up? And you know they got them big doors, them big bank doors that they got on both sides. So, you know, if they got to close it on you to save the rest of mankind, son, you got a problem. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Shout out to my guy, Darth Spalding. Shout out to Miller Time NYC's in the building early. Let's go. You know how we get down, man. It's definitely going to be one of them kind of shows today. We got a lot of news going on out here today. A lot of things going on out here. A lot of things you got to pay attention to. A lot of laws. A lot of things being enacted. And we're going to talk about it because I'm going to tell you, California about to be, I don't know what California's doing. Can I stop the music for a minute? We're going to stop the music just for a minute. What is California doing? Now, it looks like on top of them, the gas price is crazy. Like $6-7 a gallon. Even the charging costs a lot. Imagine that. Even the charging costs a lot. But now they want to try to charge you per mile that you drive, period. That's crazy. And the fact that people just be going with this stuff is amazing to me. The fact that a lot of these people are like, oh, you know what? Okay, I'll pay it. You got to start like really, really questioning these guys, man. Listen, we understand they are politicians and maybe you voted them in. I didn't vote them in. But it looks like they just doing whatever they want, man. And it's like, you got to start to ask yourself, man, what are they doing exactly? They're trying to make sure that they securing that bag because a lot of people are leaving these inner cities. And the reason they leaving them is because not necessarily violence, not necessarily, you know, the affordability, even though a lot of these places you can't really afford. But now it's coming down to them taxing you without taxing you. Now it's coming down to them having $800 exhaust cameras, speed cameras, red light cameras. Oh, you can't park here today. Wow, here's a $50 ticket. Oh, you can't do this. Here's a $50 surcharge, $34 surcharge on your electric bill. Like, this is what's really happening. What's going on, my guy? Shout out to my guy, Green. You're already in the building. You know what it is. And this is why I got to say, yo, shout out to my guy, Tiny's in the building as well. What's going on? I will say this. It's like it's getting to that point where things are starting to get unaffordable. You got a lot of people that are saying, you know what? I don't got time. And they're leaving out of here. And they're trying to do whatever they can to secure it. But with that being said, man, it's been one heck of a day, one heck of a morning thus far, but we got it going on today, man. It's going down. We got a lot we're going to talk about today. Shout to everybody that's tuned in. Definitely want to give my shout outs to all the car clubs, all the people who's building their cars, but take that time out at 12 o'clock to come listen to your boy. I appreciate it, man. You already know what it is, man. But we got some things we want to talk about. I got a new segment I want to try out today, and it's called Why. Sometimes you got to ask why. Before you got to like, why did they do that? A lot of times you be shocked with your answer, but here's one thing in particular I wanted to answer, and this is why. This is another why moment. Now, everybody knows here at Rally Radio, we are automotive podcast, automotive show, only on Bars and Hoops Radio, or you can find us on YouTube at Gutterball Rally, or YouTube at Rally Radio now, excuse me. YouTube at Rally Radio, and Facebook at Gutterball Rally. But We are in the building. And now, like I said, we got to ask why, man. Here goes the real why. You got Tesla guys that are selling silicone caliper covers that can cook their brakes. I got to stop the music right there. Shout out to my guy, Manacho. He's in the building too early. That's my guy. Why would you... Now, this is how you know a lot of people that drive electric cars are not car people. I got to say it. And if you feel different, don't forget you give us a call, 516-206-0711. Give us a call, man. You already know what it is. Put the number down there at the bottom. You already know what to do. Why would you think that something that generates that much heat you can cover with a silicone cover? That right there makes no sense. And for any car guy that disagrees, you can call up. It makes no sense. Why would you want to do it? Shout out to my guy, Seneca. He's in the building as well. You already know what it is. Why would you put silicone covers on your brakes? First off, putting any kind of cover on your brakes is silly. I'm gonna tell you why. Because your brakes actually take on a lot of heat. And a lot of those cuts and vents that you see in there, a lot of times they dissipate that heat on top of dust or whatever they have after they stop in your car. If you cover it, not only are you holding in that heat, you holding in all that dust. And we already know steel dust and heat don't mix. You're bursting the flames in no time. But I'm trying to understand why you would want to do that to your car. But you got a lot of people out here doing a lot of crazy stuff, so I got to ask why. Let me give it to y'all a little bit. We're gonna read off on it a little bit. Nobody can rehash existing ideas, and we already know that we was doing all kind of stuff to our brake calipers. We was, you know what I mean, putting on, we was spray painting them and stuff like that, or painting them a different color. But when it comes to putting this kind of stuff on your car, we just got to get into it. The innovation comes from a place called Caliper Skins. Right off the rip, because they call it Caliper Skins, I'm scared of it. But comes from a place called Caliper Skins. They invented foam covers for brakes, which is hilarious. Shout to Seneca. He said they figured Silicon Valley, silicone brakes, tomato. That is actually hilarious because I'm also buying that that's what they was doing too. It's ridiculous. But in the meantime, it looks like their pictures. Don't waste your time painting your calipers. Get a silicone cover. It's hilarious. You already got people buying it, and not only that, they want $180. $180. Where you can get yourself a $20 can of spray paint and get it popping. All you got to do is just take your caliper off, spray paint it on the newspaper, make sure you keep it clean, let it dry, put it right back. Nah, they selling this for $180. And you know cats bought it. Which really scares me. But now, not only we talking about an electric vehicle that can probably burst into flames for no reason, now you're going to add silicone covers of the brakes. This is why I say a lot of people that are into electric vehicles are not car people. They believe a car is here to get you from point A to point B. They don't care how they do it. And I get you. That's you. That's you. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I just got to say that. At the end of the day, if you believe that, okay, I'm going to operate my car, just go from here to there, that's fine. That's what you want to do. But please, for the life, do not put silicone covers on your brakes. Silicone covers on your brake. That has to be one of the silliest things I ever heard. So with that being said, man, you know how we get down here, man. I usually save the understeer for later, but if you have silicone covers on your brakes,
it's the understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
I find myself asking that a lot these days. What the hell are you thinking? I don't know, but very interesting. Nonetheless, we're going to jump right into the show. You know how we get down, man. Like I said, I want to send a couple shout outs. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us, who tuned in, paying attention. We in So with that being said, we're going to jump right into the recap of last week. You know how we get down, man. It was definitely a great show last week. If you didn't tune in, don't forget you can subscribe to the YouTube at Rally Radio, and you can find our old episodes from there if you missed any. And don't forget, you can catch it live, www.barshoopsradio.com. I know you see the logo right behind me on this side. I know it's hilarious. Sorry. See the logo on this side over here? You already know what to do. You know where to find us. It actually was a great show last week. We talked about a lot of different things. We're going to get into it a little bit, man. Like I said, this week is needs versus wants. Last week, we actually brought up, how long are we going to put up with this? Now, we talked about the $800 exhaust ticket for our homie with the Lamborghini and how he's taking it to the Supreme Court. Now, one of the things that he's going to have a problem with, shout to my guy Shy, he's tuned in early too. What's going on? Early, tuned in from the moon. One of the problems that he's going to have is that there was actually a guy before him that actually had the same problem. He went to the Supreme Court because of New York City exhaust cameras. He fought it at least 5 times, I believe 7 times. And all of the times he lost. And the Supreme Court pretty much said, not Supreme Court, but New York City Court is Supreme Court. They pretty much were saying, you was operating this vehicle at a point where it was making that much noise, so you're guilty. Which now raised the question, is this discrimination? Because now you're talking about if you have an electric car, right? You ain't got to worry about this. If you got a gas car, even if, let's say, for instance, your car is stopped and you're trying to get to the next light, you're trying to get in front of this person to get to the turn, and you dump the gas. If your car goes up loud, and they all do, we've all heard them, we can hear the highway from everywhere. If it goes up loud, it's loud enough to get this ticket. You're going to get an $800 ticket because they made it sure, they made it be clear that modified exhausts are not horn honking or not. They don't care. Your music playing loud, if it's over 93 decibels, you're getting an $800 ticket for your first offense, $1,500 for your second, $2,100 for your third, and then it's $2,100 from here on out. Now, this is what I'm talking about taxing people without taxing. It's like they kind of forcing you to buy an electric vehicle almost, and they don't even have the infrastructure for it. If you live in the projects, you ain't parking no EV outside and charging it. It's not happening. You're going to throw the extension cord out the window. It's not happening. And they know that, but yet still, they want to make sure that they're getting their money out of you. So that was one of the things that we definitely talked about last week. Very, very interesting topic. We actually talked about it. We took people's opinions. And, at the end of the day, you got to care. People act like, oh, I don't care. It is what it is. I ain't got that kind of car. Okay. Let's say, for instance, you driving home, you hit a pothole in New York City streets. It break your exhaust. So now you like, damn, man, I got to get the car home. You driving this car home loud. Guess what? Exhaust camera got you. Boop. So now on top of you spending the money to fix your exhaust, you got an $800 ticket in the mail. $800. That's some people's rent. If they have like a small studio. You know what I mean? We got to keep it real. At the end of the day, you know what it is. I want your money, man. And if they're not getting your bread, ain't nothing we can do for you. So, with that being said, shout out to everybody who they're paying attention. We didn't talk about this last week, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Chicago police covered up 200,000 traffic stops to dodge court reform. This is very interesting. You know why? Because we all know that there were certain things they wasn't allowing, stop and frisk in a lot of these places, but it looks like they actually was covering up traffic stops. They said, oh, you know what? We not gonna let you stop us from doing a whole bunch of illegal traffic stops, which is crazy because now when you think about it, you gotta say to yourself, is this something that they doing all the time? And I mean 200,000? 200,000. Let's get into this a little bit. Sounds a little crazy. So, recent analysis of the Chicago Police Department radio dispatch data uncovered that over 1/3 of traffic stops are not reported, a violation of Illinois state law. This amounts to undocumented 200,000 traffic stops made last year, hidden from regulators. CPD is seemingly using traffic stops as a substitute for stop and frisk. Wow. The department reached a settlement with the ACLU to move from stop and frisk in 2016 in the wake of teenager Laquan McDonald's murder by a Chicago police officer. The ACLU found that stop and frisk disproportionately targeted Black Chicagoans and violated their constitutional rights. CPD used traffic stops to continue aggressive police tactics since the department could no longer stop pedestrians. So what they pretty much was doing is, we can't do stop and frisk. We're going to stop your car. We're going to make it a traffic stop. We're going to say, oh, your tail light is out. We all heard some of the excuses, but it is what it is, right? They use the traffic stops to still be aggressive, and they claim that they were still getting guns off the street. But they had to really, really look into it, because 5 plainclothes officers, they shot a guy named Dexter Reed 13 times, killing him just after he was pulled over for a seatbelt violation. Here we go. This is what I mean about the politicians and people you put into place. You don't think they came up with that idea on their own? No. Most likely, their mayor, who's cool with the commissioner, said, you know what? We still got to get our numbers up. We still got to have people stopped. We got to make sure that we do this. Shout to my guy, Aaron Raw, in the building. You already know what it is. Shout to him. Something you got to pay attention to here. Like I said, the people that we put in office, just got to make sure that they're doing the right thing. That's my thing. Just make sure that they're doing the right thing. But with that being said, we're going to jump right in. You know how we get down. If you haven't been to the show yet, thank you. Shout to you. You know what I mean? If you're tuning in for the first time, if you're not, you know how we get down here, man. After our shout-outs, after our recap, we go right for the show. So let's get it.
Weekly Specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right, and now we get down, man. We in the building, and just like that, we setting it off with California again. I'm telling you. You don't want to live in California. It looks like it's going crazy out there, but we're going to jump right into it. Let's get into it. California passes a bill to mandate speed warning chimes in new cars by 2030. Now, I don't know about how many of y'all jump in your car, and let's say you forget to put on a seatbelt, right? These cars have gotten growingly obnoxious with the sounds that they make for seatbelts. The other day, I'm driving my wife's car, and I mean, this thing went from a slight beep, like beep, 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 that your seatbelt is off, to a full loud orchestra, like, put your seatbelt on. I'm like, oh my God, right? So now, in 2030, California is mandating that all new cars sold by 2030 must have a speed warning chime. So now, if your speed limit is 25, 30 miles an hour like it is here, drive off, you're doing 33, this thing is going to start ringing in your ear until you bring it back down to the speed limit. I don't know how many people agree with that. That is crazy in my opinion. That would piss me off. Could you think about how many ambient noises you're going to hear inside your car? Seatbelt, speed, and then they got a whole host of other things that they want to do to your car, but let's get into it. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed Senate Bill 961 by the end of September that many new vehicles sold or leased in the Golden State from 2030, sold or leased too, in 2030, moving forward, will have to include a driver alert to discourage speeding. It's not a speed restrictor being discussed, they saying, but a brief one-time audio and visual warning. So they had something like that before. Shout to my guy Miller. He said, sound like CBTC. I hear you on that one. Now, they had something like this before, and they tried something like this. It was where they had the street signs, where if you be driving, and let's say you're over the speed, they would have a street sign flash like skull and crossbones or something. Little kids playing around like holograms. And then people slow down. They damn near crash. And then when they get there, they're like, oh, we just wanted to let you know that you was over the speed by 2 miles an hour. Amazing. Well, it looks like that's what they're going to be doing out there in California. SB 961, introduced at the beginning of the year, 26% of the people was in favor and 9 opposed until the assembly floor. When it hit the assembly floor, 47 in favor, 17 opposed. I don't want nothing telling me I'm already doing something I know I'm doing. I know I'm over the speed limit. I know what the speed limit is, but I also know what I'm doing. And I'm taking that chance in my hands. This is what I'm saying. We all saw our robot. It's going to come a point where we're not even going to be wheeling these things no more. I'm telling you. It's interesting. I just want to know what they was thinking when they actually agreed to this. But listen, Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. Now, we got some other news with Tesla. Now, this is very interesting. This right here is interesting. Cops are now towing Teslas for evidence at crime scenes. Wow. Let's think about that one for a minute. Cops are now towing Teslas for evidence at crime scenes. And everybody's like, bear the one, what you talking about? Why would they be doing that? Well, it looks like we all know that Teslas record 24/7. A lot of people don't know that, but they do. A lot of the cameras that they use for the LiDAR and the radar for them to do the self-driving thing that they are very poor at, they actually have a lot of other cameras that are consistently moving all the time and actually recorded. So it looks like now, if there's a shooting, robbery, or something like that, not only are they canvassing the neighborhood for cameras, they're also taking Teslas for the download of the evidence. So just when you thought that cameras aren't everywhere, they really are. And there has to be times where you see some sort of situation and you say to yourself, yo, how did they get footage of that? You gotta ask yourself now, man. It's cameras in place you wouldn't even think. Cameras in place you wouldn't even think. But them having them in and using them in a Tesla like that, or using a Tesla for evidence, is crazy. Says here, if you're the proud owner of a Tesla, you might think the biggest thing you have to worry about with your car is either the battery going flat or panels falling off. But now it turns out there's a new concern for American Tesla owners. Cops towing their cars as evidence in crime scenes. Tesla owners in California have reportedly had their vehicles towed from crime scenes by police. That's crazy. Law enforcement have been towing vehicles from crime scenes that were placed in sentry mode, which sets the car's onboard cameras to turn on and capture everything that goes on outside the vehicle. As Car Scoops explains, while the EVs and their owners are usually unrelated to the incidents, video footage from the scene can be quite important for the case. The police usually ask for the owner's permission to access their Tesla Sentry Mode backup USB drive, which is located in the glove box, and download the desired content. However, if the owners can't be located, officers obtain search warrants and tow the EV into evidence. I gotta stop it right there. So now, this also could put you in danger if you own a Tesla. Because let's say, for instance, something did go down on the block or something happened over there, and they know you got a Tesla, they may just wait on you. Yo, let me get the camera. Let me get the Sentry box in your in your glove box, fam. Put a pistol in your face because they want to get the camera out your car. What's your thoughts on that? That's crazy. You got to start asking yourself some of these things. Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, there's times where there's crimes and you want to see people get caught, but it's like, yo, they towing your car. Imagine that you go to work. You got your little electric vehicle, you just fully charged it. You can't wait to get home. And come out, it's not there. You call the precinct trying to figure out if somebody stole your car. If it popped up on the radio, you're reporting it. Like, no, we have it here at the precinct. We was trying to download it for evidence. That's what I'm talking about. Now, it's not even really yours anymore. A recent example took place at a hotel parking lot in Oakland in July. A man was found in an RV, stabbed and shot, wounds that eventually led to his death at a nearby hospital. The homicide police showed up and located a Tesla that was in the parking lot next to the opposite to the RV. The owner of the Tesla was a Canadian tourist. He ain't even from LA. He just happened to drive down there. He reportedly arrived at the scene during the towing process. The man permitted officers to download the footage without taking away the car, sparing him a visit to the police station. That's crazy. They are out here taking all of this footage off of these cars. And you got to ask yourself, man, now this is what I'm saying. You don't think there's a plan now for you to have all these things and no gas? You don't think there's a plan? If you don't, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Shout to my guy, Militime NYC. He says, sometimes without your permission or knowledge. Yeah. Part of a crime. And it's like, that's actually a good question. If there ever is a time where they take your car, and let's say it really was part of a crime scene. Like, we've seen cars riddled with bullet holes or something like that, and they rope it off. They usually give it back to you. Do they even pay for that damage? That's a good question, man. And let's say they damage the Tesla towing it, because obviously if they can't get into it, they can't put it in what they call tow mode. Now, Tesla has a tow mode where if you can't put it in tow mode, it won't roll. You got to drag it. And we're talking about dragging a 6,000-7,000 pound car. Let's say they damage it. Do they pay for the damages? This is I don't know. This is what I mean, man. We lose sight of some of these things and some of these little nuances of the law and wonder who's responsible if X, Y, and Z happens. Shout to Miller. He said it's the same logic with your cell phone. It's a fact. They can be like, yo, give me your phone. It is what it is. Give me your phone. We want it. We want to see what's going on. So you got to think about that. Like I said, the nuances of the law. And we're going to talk about a little something different today. Like I said, Rally Radio, automotive podcast, talk about everything automotive. We try not to intertwine politics, but politics is intertwining with autos like never before. Philadelphia woman uses her Ford Blue Cruise. She's charged with DUI homicides. This is why they say driver's assist systems should be monitored at all times. We talked about this. If the car is self-driving and it gets into an accident, is it your fault? Look like apparently it is here. Looks like a Philadelphia woman who was drunk. She was using a partially automated driver system when she caused a highway crash in Philly that killed 2 people. So, state and federal investigations say the woman's Ford Mustang Mach-E SUV, a.k.a. lipstick on the pig Mustang. Crazy. I don't like it. But the Mustang Mach-E SUV struck the stationary vehicle of a man who had stopped on the left shoulder of the I-95 to assist the driver whose car had broken down ahead of him. The March collision, which occurred around 3 a.m., killed both men. So the crash was at least the second this year involving a Mach-E striking a stationary vehicle after dark that the NTSB investigated. In February, a crash along the Interstate 10 in San Antonio, Texas, investigators believe a Mach-E struck a CRV that was stopped in the middle lane with no lights. The driver of the CRV was killed. Again, this is full self-driving. They telling you that it could do it, and it can't. And when it has an accident, you are liable. So if I'm liable, am I going to let this thing drive for me? I don't think so. And if that's the case, why is it on my car? Do I really need it? You got to ask yourself these questions. Shout out to everybody who's paying attention. Appreciate y'all early. Don't forget, tune into the YouTube at Rally Radio, or you can find us live, Balls and Hoops Radio, www.ballshoopsradio.com. You got to ask yourself these things, man. This car gets into an accident when it's self-driving. Is it my fault? It looks like everybody's finding them guilty regardless. So the Ford Blue Cruise is a little different. The system allows drivers to take their hands off the steering wheel while it handles the steering, braking, and acceleration on highways. The company says the system isn't fully autonomous and it monitors drivers to make sure they pay attention on the road. How does it do that? I don't know. Investigators in Philly believe the Mach-E driver, her name was Dimple Patel. Boy, can't go to prison with that name. Dimple Patel was driving about 71 miles an hour using both Blue Cruise and adaptive cruise control when the crash occurred. A 4th vehicle was also struck. The 23-year-old Patel, a pre-med student from Philly, faces multiple charges, including homicide by vehicle while driving under the influence and involuntary manslaughter. She turned herself into the police Tuesday on the charges filed last week. That's crazy. So now she's 23 years old, pre-med student. Those are some serious charges. I mean, they carry at least 15 years. At least 15. And all of this because she put faith in self-driving. That's crazy. She put faith in his self-driving. It allowed her to remove her hands and adaptive cruise control so that if there's something in front of her, the car would stop or slow down. Not stop, I guess. But she ended up crashing into it. And now she don't got no leg to stand on, in my opinion, because they kind of let you know this. But the defense lawyer, Zach Goldstein, said he had not yet seen a criminal complaint or any reports on the crash and called the deaths a tragedy. However, he noted, broadly speaking, Pennsylvania law on DUI-related homicide requires that the DUI caused the homicide. Uh-oh. And that's where he's going to win his case. Maybe it wasn't the DUI that caused it because she wasn't driving technically, right? It was the car. The car is supposed to be able to see these things slow down, I'm guessing. I don't know if that's the same thing for the Ford Blue Cruise as it is for Tesla. But at the end of the day, he's trying to say because she wasn't driving, she didn't commit the homicide because she wasn't driving under the influence. I see where he's going with it. I don't know if they're going to let him get away with that. That sounds like a crazy verbal judo defense. But if it works, it works. But I will say this. 2 people are dead. 4 cars hit. 1 person left there at the scene with a car, and the car was driving. The car was doing the driving. That is amazing. That is amazing. We got to pay attention to this case because I want to see how this plays out. Ford said it was collaborating with both the state police and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in reviewing the crash, which killed Akatelek Bakhtibekov. He had to be Russian. I'm sorry if I chopped up his name. No disrespect. Who had broken down, and his friend Tolabek Esgibinov, who had presumably stopped in the shoulder to assist him. So both of these guys stopped, tried to do their thing. Car crashed right into him. She's drunk in the driver's seat, but she wasn't driving. Whose fault is it? We've been saying that. Whose fault is it going to be? This is going to be interesting. We got to watch and see how this case plays out. There's a lot of things where, like I said, when it comes down to these laws and these nuances, we can't just always jump into something like, oh, you know what? Oh, it's full self-driving. I'm going to give it a shot. And next thing you know, it's in the side of a wall. And you're like, yo, it wasn't me. They're like, yes, it was. You was responsible. If I'm responsible, I'm putting my hands on the wheel. And I think that is crazy. When you start to really, really, really look at some of these things, you got to start saying to yourself real fast, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? I mean, you got some people, and I've seen it. People put the videos. You see some of the videos on social media. People straight sleep behind the steering wheel of a Tesla. Straight sleep. Even got blinders on. They all waking up just in time to get to work. And you got to say to yourself, how could you put that much faith in a car? I mean, that you're not operating. I don't know how you do that. To me, that's about as dangerous as it gets. I don't think nobody else could ever say that that's how they rocking with it. And I'm just like, I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. That's a lot of faith for something to just be driving. Don't get me wrong. My wife's car, she has a Toyota Venza. You can take your hands off the steering wheel. But do you really want to do that at 70 miles an hour? Do you really trust that much? Not me, man. I'm sorry. I see some of these things and I got to say to myself, bruh, you reaching. That right there can get dangerous, man. And trust me, we got to start to think about, like, how are they going to process you now? And that's what the lawyer's hitting on. It wasn't her. She didn't do it. Well, then who did it? The car? They're not buying that. They're not buying that at all, man. You're on your own when it comes to something like that. They're not trying to hear it at all. Hopefully, like I said, we'll pay attention to it. She's a young girl. She's 23 years old. I'll tell you the truth. They didn't say she was a female. Pardon me. You know what I'm saying? But she's 23 years old. But hopefully it ain't a guy named like Dimple. Boy, can't go to prison like that. They're gonna let your Dimple come in. Nah, I'm stop playing. It's going to be hilarious. You got to have to duck a couple charges on top of that, man. But with that being said, man, you got to start looking into a lot of these things. And that's why I say you got to look at the laws. You got to look at the laws as being enacted. They're giving you these things, and they're not telling you a lot of the nuances and the laws that come with them. They're not saying that. Like, you know that little warning that you see on cigarettes? You know how much they had to fight to have that put on the box? Surgeon General warning these could kill you. Nah, at one point, they just was selling the cigarettes. They ain't care. Same rules apply here. You don't think that people should be given a warning that, yo, you cannot let these cars drive for you because you got people doing it left and right. We got so many instances we talked about here on Rally Radio by itself with Teslas crashing into people constantly. Look at these cabs that they have that nobody's driving. Really? I mean, it's probably a novelty. It's probably something I would look and see. But as far as me getting in, no. That doesn't make no sense. I'm not getting in nothing where there's nobody driving. I'm sorry. Somebody got to be held liable. If this self-driving cab, and we've seen them. I don't know if y'all seen them. They called the Gizmo, and Google has some, and Waymo taxis, Waymo accidents. Shout to my God, Jay. At the end of the day, you look over there, you don't see nobody driving, and that don't make you nervous to the point you want to get out? I'm good. I'm getting out. I'm sorry. I'm getting out. They're going to be like, oh, listen, sir. No, I don't care. Listen, just how fast this thing did not recognize somebody pulled over on the side of the road is just how fast it can make a left turn, and it don't see the motorcyclist coming up the street. Boom. There you go. Nah, I'm good. And then blame me? Nah, I'm good. But with that being said, you know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one here. We're going to move right along. Flying solo today. S.I Shawn, he got some paid time off. You know how that go. But we're going to jump right into our next little couple seconds we got over here. Don't forget, man, you already know where it is. The bearded one here. You know where to find us. Saturdays, YouTube, Rally Radio. You can find us on Bars and Hoops Radio, Saturdays, 12 noon, www.barsandhoopsradio.com. Don't forget to download the app. We have an app out there. Shout to my guy, Draco. He's in the building. AC Draco on the wild. What's going on, my brother? We talking about it today. What does your project car need versus what you want? It's going to be a very, very interesting topic. Now, the reason I brought it up is because, first off, like I said, whether you are building a car or not, you can always tune in to Rally Radio. If you like cars, we can help you out there. But now when it comes to the project cars, now I think everybody that's within the sound of my voice most likely has a project car, right? When it comes down to what your project car needs versus what you want, which one do you always pull the trigger for? Oh, we got a caller. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
You know what it is. You know who it is.
Shout to my guy Draco. He's in the building early. You already know what it is. Shout to my guy Dave. He's tuned in as well. Shout to my guy Dave. You know how we get down.
Check.
Phone should be working. Let me know if you can hear the caller. What's going on, Draco? What you got?
Nothing, chilling. I just came back from Jamaica.
Woo!
And my boy down there, I think I'll post it in the Facebook group. Yes. He got a little Sentra, so I had a little taste of the scene down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, put me on, man, because I've been to Jamaica too. I've seen a little bit of the scene down there myself, but it was about 15 years ago. What you got for me? How did it sound down there, man?
Oh, well, it's all right. I mean, it's not all, hot import nights, glitzy, and a lot of people, they don't have the funds, so they put together what they can put together, but they make it work.
Okay.
They make it work. It might not be as 10-stage clear coat and all that stuff. They might have a few things but they get them moving out there.
So when you say that, right? Like I understand. Like I was recently watching shout to 45 NYC. I was watching him recently. And he definitely goes to all of these. He went to Jamaica, and I think he took the front wheel drive title out there too. So I know they get it popping, but where though? On the regular street, or they got like some roads?
Nah, they have like sanctioned roadways.
Really?
Yeah, they don't. They wild out in the street, but it's kind of dangerous out there. So they do it like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and there's certain streets they know not to do craziness because one wrong move, you off a cliff.
Boy, that adds a little bit of element of danger in it.
Yeah, and they're not really on the wheels, like, because I was looking at the dude's wheels and I was like, yo, my man, you don't got no wheel locks? He said they don't really steal wheels down here like that. I said, oh, okay.
Wait a minute.
I would have my wheel locks to get ahead of that.
Wait a minute. So you was in Jamaica. And obviously you're checking out the wheels, like, and he was like, he said they don't book wheels out there.
They don't steal the wheels.
Really?
He said, you have to be careful, but for the most part, you know how like we worried about somebody might just jack our stuff up.
Yeah.
They don't really worry about that.
That's because they're the original Jamaican Don Dada. They don't play that ish.
Basically,
somebody catching a hot one.
Somebody gonna get for real.
Somebody getting shot. Well, I gotta say this though. At the end of the day, man. First off, shout to Shaw. He said 45 got the Caribbean fastest front wheel drive. Okay, he was taking the car apart, taking it out there. What was the most intricate thing that you took away from that though? Like, what was the first off, what was the baddest car you saw in Jamaica?
I mean, how to put this? They had some bangers out there, but most of it was homegrown. It was, you could see dude was in the backyard, you know, like we say in Trini, in the bamboo. You know, it's a lot of handmade stuff. It's not as polished.
So, but we talking power numbers though. Like I'm talking about power. Like what was the strongest you seen?
They will get a eBay turbo and throw a normally aspirated up to 200, 300 horses.
And they wreck a shop?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you gut it. They gut it. And they got no fear when they drive. They just go.
Wow. But ain't nothing coming up. They ain't worried about nobody backing out of their driveway or nothing stupid like that. They in some road. That's good for that.
The worst you could worry about, as he told me, he was coming back from an event, and you got to watch out for the cows and the goats because they like to come out on the road at night.
Damn,
apparently because it's cooler on the street at night than in the bushes.
Sound like dinner time to me, kid. Word up. I hit a goat, kid. He's coming with me, son. Ain't no more
throw him in the back. And my man in particular, he likes to put lights in his engine bay. So he's got homemade plexi. He made a wing, I don't know, piece of a dashboard.
Oh yeah,
all kinds of stuff. Home Depot business.
Yo, they using PVC pipe for like turbo inlet pipe stuff like that.
He actually has that.
Yo, that's crazy.
He has a clear pipe that he puts lights through the air intake, so that he made his own ram air like that. I was like, yo, he said, yo, you know, we don't got no sponsors. I said, I'll tell you what. Tell me what you need and I'll sponsor you. How about that? So might have
you're a good guy, man. Give Draco a round of applause, man. That's what I'm telling you. They said I sponsor the hoopty.
Obsessive Entertainment will be sponsoring in the island.
I hear that, man. I hear that. Well, at least you had a good time. What part of Jamaica was you in?
Negril, Hito. Yeah.
All right, we gonna keep it clean for the kids.
Exactly.
We gonna keep it clean for the kids.
But I was on assignment though. I had a couple of photography gigs. Some people wanted me to take pictures, so I took pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout to Marlon. He said, shout to Marlon, resident Toyota guy. He's in the building. He said, Paul, clear pipe. Woohoo! Yeah, I know. I was just letting him talk. I'm gonna let him talk. But with that being said, Draco, the question lives, and you're the perfect person to answer this. What does your project car need? Like, do you put the needs versus the wants when it comes to the project car? And what I mean by this is, a lot of times we may need like something like a fuel pump or, you know, something like that. But then you're like, yo, I'm trying to save up for this $1,000 big brake kit. Why do we do that? And where do you place these things? Do you go with needs versus wants, or you go with wants versus needs? What's your take?
I put the wants at the end. Right now, my wants is paint, wheels, tires, and everything to look pretty. My needs right now, a clutch kit, and maybe brake pads. She almost ready to go.
I hear that.
So that's about it.
So you would say that you definitely put your needs over your wants. And I mean, it's a project car. Like, I feel a little different. And shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Like I said, call up. Don't forget the numbers 516-206-0711. I know you see it down there at the bottom. I feel a little different. I feel like because it is a project car that you can sit it to the side and get the stuff you really want. You feel what I'm saying?
See? And that's why the Rex is in the garage chilling.
No, the Rex is in the garage chilling because the kitty is low. The bank is crazy. Because these things cost. I will say this. I have 3 cars and a motorcycle, which could get a little pricey. in a lot of
It-
these different things. Shout to
Especially if you're doing stuff to all of them. That's
oh,
probably part of the problem.
and not only no, that's never a problem. Trust me. At the end
Oh,
of the
excuse
day,
me.
as long as you have something on the road, you good. If
Yeah.
you building. That's fine too. But I always look at it like I could if I'm building my CRX and I don't have nothing to drive, that's a problem. If I'm building my CRX and I'm driving my Type R in the meantime, that's okay too. Because my look at it is it's a project car. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to take time. It's supposed to
Right.
be these things. And that's why I say need versus want. I feel like, yeah, you park it up and you get what you want. Because at the end of the day, if it's just needs, I could ditch the whole car and just get one that's driving. Would I be happy with it? No.
Now, however,
Mm-hmm.
however, you have two dailies.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
So the Rex now has turned into a want. The whole car.
Well, I'll tell you what, the CRX once I had a CRX before this, right? I had a red CRX. I think I told everybody the story. They've heard it.
Yeah.
I had a red CRX, and it was taken. And once that CRX was taken, I was like, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get another one. And at first, that really wasn't the plan. And then what happened was I had so many parts, rare parts that was in that CRX. And when I say rare parts, I don't mean as a whole. Like, you know, from dealing with your car, right? There's just you may have the rear window lovers for the car, but you may not have
the side.
Right. So now you like, damn, I don't need the louver, I need the side.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me.
Not to cut you, that's an example of a want. There's a dude selling the whole set metal for $1,000. Do I need it? No. Do I want it?
But here's the question. If you don't get it and it sells out forever, you're gonna be mad.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And that's the thing about dealing with a project, especially an older project car. And I think that's also the difference too. When you're dealing with an older project car versus a car that's newer, you're like, if I don't buy this now, I could buy this later. But with a what year is your car? 87?
88.
With an 88 Conquest.
Yeah.
You pass up on it, there's a good chance that's it. Same thing with an 88 CRX. You pass up on it. It's not like the aftermarket supports the cars anymore. And if you notice, a lot of the aftermarket is going down, it's dying. A lot of these companies, like just yesterday, Hoonigan filed for bankruptcy. I don't know if anybody know that, but Hoonigan filed for bankruptcy yesterday. And they were making wheels and things like that. These companies,
you know what it is?
Go ahead.
What I think, YouTube killed the aftermarket. Remember, you used to go to Rayco.
Yes.
And I need to tint. Now, go on YouTube, figure out how to tint. You don't need them dudes no more. Or you go to a tuning shop, tune my car. Go to YouTube, and it's happening to the aftermarket people who go in a Hoonigan to get charged all that money when either your homeboy or YouTube can show you to do the exact same thing.
But you know what though? I beg to differ. You know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that everybody wants to be the at-home mechanic. That's one.
Right.
Two, I think a lot of it has to do with shady mechanics and shady tuners and shady people touching your car. Because I have my own stories. Everybody has stories of people like that touching their cars and doing all kind of crazy stuff with it, right? But I think the number one reason why a lot of these aftermarket companies are falling to the wayside is because the dealerships and the automakers themselves have already seen what they was making for the car and said, you know what? We'll make the car with it and we'll charge you more. And it's been working. Think about some cars that already come with
the jailbreaks, the L-Tag.
Come on. And now Dodge is like, you could come back to us for direct connection. We could give you 1,000 horsepower legitimately.
Yep.
Past the smell, the smog and everything. So it's like you gotta really look at that too as well.
You right.
I
But
think that when it comes down to it, need versus want depends on how much you need or want the car. How does that sound?
I agree to that. I agree to that.
Hmm.
I mean, I
But
always
Mhm.
like the process. You even saw it in the old Spike TV. You do all the engine work first, and then after you get the paint, or you do so and so work first, and then you send it for upholstery.
You know what's crazy though? But again, that's a perfect situation.
Right.
None of it, like a perfect situation for me would be okay. Yeah, you know what? We go out here, we do this, we do that. Then we next thing we paint, next thing we do the body, next thing you do. It's never perfect. The situation is never perfect. Sometimes let's even personnel, people that know how to do these things.
Right.
They open one day, the next
Oh,
day
yeah.
they closed.
Yep.
So now finding somebody to do that work. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. I'm glad I got your take on it, Draco. That's what I'm talking about. So what you saying, man? You saying that next year, Conquest is outside?
All over the place. All over the place. And mess around and I go single. I'm taking names.
Oh shoot, single meaning single turbo?
Yeah.
Oh boy, look, y'all heard it here first. He said he
The
want
whole yeah, I can get the single
he want your money.
the whole what you call it, the whole 640 turbo kit is only like about $2,000.
That sounds
That
like a
tax
want.
money.
Sounds like
That
a
tax
want.
money.
Sounds like it's
Now
going down.
now if I could keep it on the road, it's another story. Because I know me. I told y'all already why I don't want to get a motorcycle. I'm gonna do some wildings.
Nah. Yo, tell you when you see that ground, I'm telling you, we all say the same thing, man. We see that ground, you be like, nah,
Yeah.
that road is right here, bro. Trust me. You be like, nah. Telling you, be looking at it, you be like, nope, I'm not doing it. But I hear you loud and clear. Shout to my guy Draco for calling up.
All
You already
right.
know what it is, man. We appreciate you early, making sure you
All
trying to get
right.
some bread out here. But with that being said, man, don't
All right
forget,
then.
we're gonna be looking, man. All right, Draco, thanks for calling.
Later.
All right, peace. Shout to my guy Draco. Shout to Shadow Gamer. Shadow Gamer's in the building early. Shout to Shadow Gamer. Yeah, we asking today. Needs versus wants for project cars. Will you park the project car up because it need a fuel pump and be like, yeah, you know what? Instead of paying $200 for this fuel pump, if I save another $800, I get big brakes? Needs versus wants. Like I said to Draco, I think it comes down to how much you need or want the car. Do you need the car to get from point A to point B? Just shout to Seneca. That's exactly what he was saying. Got a caller. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yo.
Shout to Miller Time NYC. What's going on, kid?
Y'all got me thinking about that question of the day.
Uh-oh.
Now, it's a different perspective because you're talking about a guy who only has one vehicle.
Ah.
So the need of the want is I need a second vehicle just in case one vehicle is down, just based on your story.
Facts. Every car guy, and you know what's crazy about it? This is how you end up getting way more cars than you need. You be like, I'm gonna get this so I can leave this home, and then that happens. And you know, you're leaving that one home to get this one. It's ridiculous. Go ahead, Mill. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but but you're right. But here's the funny thing, though. If I still had if I had a house with a garage and a private driveway, I would have never gave up my '96 Jeep Grand Cherokee. That would have been my project car.
Yes.
Because that one has both needs and wants. Because I have a need for it to be functional, just in case something else happens. But there are some wants in it to re-enhance its former glory.
Right.
And you know how that feels.
Yes.
But now that I don't have it, I need something else. Now here's the funny thing. I want another truck.
Oh,
and
boy.
I want to consult with my resident Toyota guy.
Let's go.
Because what I want is I want a truck that has a V8. I do not want a V6.
Whew, okay. So now you know. Now you talking about a Toyota, like 'cause you know they're not doing that no more.
No, I mean even their Tundras are V6.
Yes.
And I did a little bit of research because when I was at the last auto show I was at,
Uh-huh.
I asked the analysts and the salespeople that were there, and I asked them. I said, "What is the last year and make of the model that had a V8 in it?" And they said, "I believe it was 21."
It was the Tundra right before.
Right. So I already know what I quote unquote want / need. The want is the V8. The need is the second vehicle.
Okay. So, all right. I would say it like this. First of all, shout out to everybody tuned in paying attention. Shout out to Shadow Gamer. He said, talk about it. This is how I'm telling you. I was just talking to Draco, and Draco said, yeah, but you have 2 dailies. It's like, yeah, you know what?
Right.
What happened was it was supposed to be just 2. And I said, I need one to keep this one home. And next thing you know, you have another one. And it happens to everybody. As a matter of fact, I got another, I don't even want to admit this, but I got another car that I'm looking at, that I'm trying to get right now. I know. And I can't stop. That's my problem. I can't stop. I want them all.
But the crazy thing is, let's say, for example, you want that car, you want it, and let's say on God's green earth, it helps you out and you get it.
Yes.
But now the downside is you're going to have to sacrifice and like, now I have this car, I'm going to have to let somebody else go because now you're talking about real estate in your garage.
Who said that it has to go? I'm keeping it.
I knew you was going to say that. That's why I tossed it out there because somebody's going to play devil's advocate with your mind.
But you know what though? No, you're 1,000% right. I said, you know what? Like at the end of the day, I can't keep. But it's like, it's just certain cars where you like, I'm gonna get it, and that's why I couldn't live like in a place where I just got like space. Oh no, like I mean a lot of space, like the down south. I would probably be one of them hoarders that you'd be driving down and see you got like 15 cars out there on this grass. That'd be me, man.
Your automotive holder.
Yo. Another title Miller has given us. Another shirt that Miller has given us. Shout to Miller. So the resident Toyota guy, Miller, he says that's an older Tundra. If you want the V, and I think even finding one of those, and be honest with you, Miller, I think even finding one of those is going to be finding a needle in the haystack because now that they're not making any more V8s, and then look at the problems that they had with the V6. That they had to fix all of those engines and replace 102,000 of them. No way are these guys with the V8. They like, I'm keeping this. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And not only do I want a V8, you know what I'm really not going to find? The original Crew Max.
Oh no. First off, the Crew Max, I went looking for one. I remember when I was in the pickups at one time. I wanted a Silverado. And then I said, I like that Toyota Tundra Crew Max, though, because it looked crazy. So I went to the Toyota dealership, and I was like, do you have any Crew Maxes around? And, not knowing any better, right? This is about 2000 and, I want to say, 7, 8, around there. No, 10, 2010. And they pretty much said, and I quote, they said, we don't keep those here. Those are like special order. They was like but now that they're not making that model of truck, I could guarantee that you have them used. But when they were new, I said, well, can I just see one? They said, no, all we have is the TRD version here. That's about it, or the SR5. I think that's about as close as they got. And they was like, we don't keep the Crew Max because the Crew Max is made by order only.
Which means that if you listen to the storyline, the storyline is if you want it, we can build it.
Yeah.
Which means it's not like you can't get it,
right?
But we can build it if you truly want it. Leave a down payment, we got you.
Leave a down payment. But that's the kind of place I can't go, Miller. Can't be there. Because now it's that's it. You can build it? How much?
Yeah.
It's my problem.
Yeah, you know.
So now,
and it's not, and it's gonna be, and it's not gonna, it's gonna be a very pretty penny because it's gonna be a markup, jack up.
yeah,
What?
yeah, especially for, let me tell you something. That Toyota Tundra Crew Max, I don't even think I think I've seen maybe 2 ever in my entire life on the street. Have you ever seen one on the street, Miller?
I've seen one, but it was years ago.
That's what I
And the
mean.
closest, and the closest thing that we have, the closest you could have to that now would be a Tundra 1794 edition.
Right. Right.
Because that's what they converted. Because I believe that's what they converted it to. You don't see Crew Max no more, but the Tundra has been redesigned to take over the Crew Max design.
And that's what I'm saying. But they put that V6 in it and they hurt it. They should have
Yeah,
never did that. But with that
Yeah.
being said, you know how we get down, Miller. That's why I say, is it a need or a want? And what happens is a lot of times you get fun, especially when you're dealing with project cars. Let's keep it a buck. When you're dealing with project cars, you'd be like, yo, you know what? I could get what I want because I'm not driving it every day. And that's the thing. It's like, I think that's kind of what you got to agree with in your head. Like, you know what? I'm not driving this car every day. So because I'm not driving it every day, do I get what I need and then I put it on the road and I'm driving it, then I get what I want, or I get what I want now? Because we all know that when you put that car on the road, now there's other things that you got to take into consideration. Insurance, gas. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really think about that.
And then it turns into a need because for it to be on the street, it's got to be
functional. Right. It got to be legitimate.
And like I told you earlier, I think I texted you this in last week's episode. I said, you know what? You really need to do a show on insurance.
Yo, you know what? I have somebody that could actually come in here and break that down for me because they were definitely great insurance people. And the thing is, we when we talk about auto insurance, you're talking about a bunch of ifs. And let me tell you, something wrong go wrong with your auto insurance. Next thing you know, you sitting on the corner with rabbit ears. The wrong accident could break you.
Yes.
Like the one I was talking about with the Ford Blue Cruise, the 23-year-old girl. Yeah. If she avoids jail time, she's not avoiding the next case that comes behind the civil side.
The civil side, because that's wrongful death, and they can just go downhill from there.
Forget it. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, you may have beat us on this, but you know what? In other words,
sell your house, sell your car, sell your phone.
Yeah,
because you ain't gonna be able to pay back everything that you took from somebody else's family.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, you got to really think about that like that. Like, damn, like, so you want to make sure your car is ready to get on the road. Needs versus wants. I will say when it comes to the project car, wants. When it comes to the car you need every day, I need this. I need this. I need this. And then what happens is now, like I said, you caught up in the rut. Like, you taking care of, like I said, 3 cars and a motorcycle. And they all need something. They all like, oh.
They all need something, right? They're all your mechanical children, and they all have their hand out. Daddy, can I have this? Daddy, can I have this? Daddy, I want that. Hey, wait a minute. Here's a good one for you. Daddy, I need an OEM. What you got?
And you like this. And I learned my lesson, man. I'm telling you, I went and I bought these sensors for my Infinity. I bought the sensors from, what was it? Tiger. What was the name of this place? Y'all know what I'm talking about right there in America. I forget the name real quick, but the sensors was $15. No, it was $45 a piece from this place. From the dealership, it was $150. What do you think I do? I'm about the 45. I replaced them myself and everything. Yo, that same day driving home, the sensor cracked, broke, and the car would not start. I had to have the freaking car towed all the way home.
Sweet Jesus.
So from there, I learned a very valuable lesson, man. OEM.
Right. In fact, I got a good story just as good as that. Remember I told you my battery was dead?
Yeah.
And you always hear the stories about how don't go to the dealer, he's gonna rob you blind if it ain't covered, this and that and the third.
Right.
Yo, I went to AutoZone first. AutoZone said they were the second cheapest. They were like $1 $1.75 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think Arch Parts, the Tiger.
Arch
Parts.
Right. There I go.
Yeah. I went to them. You know how much they wanted for my battery? $185. And guess who was the cheaper one? The dealership.
Yeah.
And they gave me the warranty. Shocked me.
Yep.
Mind blown.
Yep. That was Arch. That's the one that got me. I never do it
Oh
again,
my.
kid. I
Oh,
never
no, don't
do
go to
it
them,
again.
brother. I will go to AutoZone before I go to Arch.
I said like this. After them sensors cracked and broke and I was stuck there, I was like, yo. I just looked at and that's when I actually came up with the word.
It's the understeer.
Yeah.
Like, what was I doing?
Exactly.
Yo, I ain't get home till
God.
like 5 a.m.
Oh.
Because it broke in the middle of the night. But that's neither here nor there. Yo, Miller, we appreciate you for calling in, my brother.
Always a pleasure.
You know how we get down here. So much more show. Don't forget, keep tuning in, man. You know how we get down.
Actually, I will have my notepad and got a pen and try to learn some things.
Copy that. All right, Miller, later.
Later, be good.
Peace.
Peace.
Shout out to Miller Time NYC. You know how we get down, man. We got a lot of show for you here, man. Like I said, wants versus needs. How many of y'all have project cars out there? And what I want you to do is, if you do have a project car, drop it in the comments below because we're going to put it up there. We're going to talk a little bit about y'all project cars. I can't front. I got a video out there right now that I put it a couple years ago when I first bought the CRX about the condition of the CRX. If you see it now, you're going to be like, yo, you know what, man? It's going to be work. But I want to see what else is everybody working with. Well, drop the cars in the comments below. What's your project car, man? We are here, man. You already know what it is. The bearded one. We're going to jump right into our next segment. In the meantime, while everybody's dropping those in the comments over there. So with that being said, let's get right to it.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One and S.I Shawn.
Well, you know how we get down here, man. It's going to be Tech Talk jumping in right here. It looks like Pagani. Now, everybody who don't know Pagani, you must have been under a rock or you don't have any dreams of owning a supercar. But Pagani is stopped developing a hybrid system because no one was interested. Let's get into that a little bit. We already know the Pagani Zonda. We already know the Pagani Huayra. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm definitely know what I'm talking about here. But now it looks like unveiled in 2022, the Utopia could have received the V8 electric hybrid system, but instead landed with a twin turbo 12. Why did they do it? They said because people wasn't interested. Why they won't tell Lamborghini that though? Lamborghini already got rid of the 12 and the 1090 down to the twin turbo 8, and they also doing a hybrid 1,000 horsepower V12, I think it is, in the Revuelto. And you got to ask yourself, when I say I like, all right, let me stop the music for a little minute because there's a misconception. Not that I'm against hybrid. I'm for hybrid if it's your daily. If it's your daily little SUV or something that you're driving around to save gas because you're going to work, home, pick up the kids, all of that, I could understand it. But as far as performance is concerned, no, I'm not with a hybrid setup. However, if this is the way that they're going, how do we get around that? And that's where it all comes into play because a lot of times you're going to say, oh, you know what? They won't build what you won't want. That's not true. Look at Tesla. Tesla been around. We don't want those around and they still around. I don't care what nobody say. But at the end of the day, you got to start to say to yourself, is the hybrid drivetrain something I want for performers? No. Some cars are really making it happen outside of it. You got some cars that have electric motors that assist certain cars, and it gives them an extra boost of 100 horsepower. And now, guess what? They had 900 horsepower. Yeah, it does happen. But you can't tell me that the all horsepower, all engine car, like I don't want nothing really assisting. I can understand that this is probably not where we're going to go, that eventually they're going to have to do something like that because of the laws and things that we have enacted and for the planet, I'm guessing. That's what they're saying. But at the end of the day, hybrid performance is, you know what I mean? But 831 horsepower, 1,033 foot-pounds of torque is what this car is pushing out. And it's like, you got to look at that and you got to be impressed by that. But a lot of people don't want it. And we said it here before at Rally Radio. We said this is going to be a class warfare kind of thing. It's going to be like, yo, you know what? Can you afford to have a gas car? And if you can't, you're going to get this little electric car that you're going to turn in every 3 years on a lease and take another one. That's the only way they're going to work with you. And I think that's the sad part. But now the fact that people have instead said, you know what? Instead of me buying this electric vehicle, I'll just get an older used vehicle has really put a kink in their plans. And a lot of car companies are actually starting to backtrack and not do things that they said they was going to do because of that fact. And one of them is going to be Volvo. We talking about Volvo today, y'all. Now, when I think about Volvo, I think about big turbo brick, safety for the family, damn near Swedish tank. I don't care what nobody says. It is what it is, right? But now, Volvo was the first one to have the most ambitious plans to go fully electric by 2030. They said their whole lineup is going to be fully electric, and now look at it. Volvo just recently came out the other day, and they said, you know what? We're not going to be able to go fully electric by that time span. Why do you think that is? Because people don't want them. Listen, I said it before and I said it again. And I'll say it again. Car people don't want these cars. They don't. This is a cool novelty vehicle and everything. Yeah, I charge the car and I could run my house on it and I could cook eggs in the hot plate in the back and all of that. It got a frunk, which is a trunk in the front and all of that. But at the end of the day, if you're a real car person, you're not really into it. And that's the problem. And you know why you're not into it? Because you don't believe in it. At the end of the day, they're not showing you how safe these things could be. Instead of them giving them to the city municipalities and making them use them and let them see how they work, no, they're giving it to you. And you know what? If anything goes wrong, it goes wrong. It's on you. Let's take this Ford Blue Cruise, for instance, that we just talked about with the Philly woman who was just in a bad accident, who had it on cruise control because she had too much to drink. Now, this car done crashed into two people, killed them, and now they're trying to hold her liable, but she wasn't driving. These are the kind of kinks that got to be worked out before we even consider doing stuff like this. But this is not what they're doing. Instead, they're using you as the crash dummy. So I will always say at the end of the day, hybrid power, nobody's interested in hybrid power like that. Not hybrid horsepower for performance. They're not really. However, there are some cars that successfully pulled it off. Porsche 918 Spider. Yes. It's pulled it off. It's pulled it off. You're going to get some cars that's like that. But as far as I'm talking in a language that I'm like, you know what? When I got enough money to get a Pagani, I don't want the Pagani that has a hybrid engine in it. If I'm dropping $1.2 million on a car, it better have what I want in it. And that's what you got to start to think about with the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, the Paganis, the Aston Martin, which we'll come up with later. That at the end of the day, that if you're actually buying these cars, if you're in the price range to buy these cars, you're going to give me what I want. Whereas if you're getting a Nissan, Honda, things like, you kind of got to take what they got. So it's a little different there. You know what I mean? But if you're talking about a car that's in excess of 100,000, 200, 300, and that's why I say at the end of the day, this gas-powered versus electric car is going to be a class thing. Because if you can't afford it, you won't have it. You're only going to have what the other ones have that you could afford. So it's like you got to start thinking about that. Is all the kind of things that they want to do? Yes. They want to make sure that, listen, they want to make sure, man, if we're going to put electric sockets around the city, they want to make sure you're going to use them. So they're going to outlaw a lot of these things. But with that being said, man, just getting into more automotive news, the Aston Martin Vanquish was unveiled earlier this week. And I got to say, it's one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen in my entire life. And when I say it, I mean this with all my heart. This thing is beautiful. And for those that don't know, this Aston Martin Vanquish is coming with a twin turbo 12 again. Another car that costs significantly more than the average car. And it's only coming with that kind of performance. And you got to say to yourself, like I said, once again, this is a class thing. Yes, it is what it is. But we're going to get into it. Aston Martin Vanquish returns longer and more powerful than ever before. Lamborghini was working on a hybrid flagship, and Rimac is trying to build an electric hypercar that, again, nobody's into, right? We saw that when they did the Goodwood Festival. Pause. It's crazy. He was talking a little reckless right there. But the thing is that the event is called the Goodwood Festival, where they actually drive a lot of different cars down this Prince's driveway. And it's actually kind of crazy, but you see a lot of different cars. But it looks like this Aston Martin is not going away from their V12s. They saying that for the most part, they're gonna stay V12, just like Pagani had just said. They're gonna stay V12, and that's where they're gonna move. And it's like, what you gonna do? But like I said, this Vanquish is beautiful. And when I say beautiful, if you haven't seen any pictures, don't forget you can follow us Instagram at Rally Radio Podcast. I know you see it right there, but they is definitely an animal. First off, V12, already talked about that, twin turbo, 5.2 liter, 824 horsepower. Shout out to my guy Zoom for Zoom in the building early. Let's go. Shout out to my guy Zoom for Zoom. He's in the building early. You know what it is. Oh, man. We're talking about a top speed of 214 miles per hour, which is crazy. Like I said, the thing is, it's like the more that we want these kind of things, it's like you can only get it if you're spending a lot of bread. And you know what? That's the game it looked like right here, man. But what's your thoughts on that? As like I said, as far, do you think that if Honda could build a V8, would you buy it? Ford is continuing to make their V8s. I think everything is going good with that, you know, but people are not buying them. These people are buying them, so they're going to keep making them. So just something to think about there, man. Like I said in this tech talk, we got a couple other things we're going to talk about. This is exactly what I mean about pricing. Honda Civic, 2025 Honda Civic Type R gets an $800 price increase over 2024. It starts at $46,690, which is $2,700 more than its debut in the late 2022. That is a fact. Now, my thing with this is, right, Honda's pretty much like, you know what? We made this Type R, and they're pretty much saying the behind the price, the reason that the price is the way it is because the nostalgia of the car. It's a Type R. It's the second one to ever grace American shores. And you know what? They're going to charge they want. And they're like, you know what? If you don't buy it, somebody else will, or you better buy it because you're about to stop making it. There's something to think about, too. Again, needs over wants. I would love to not want this Type R. I love my FKA better. I think the FKA is better, but it looks like they've been tweaking a couple things for the 2025 model. Yeah, the biggest update to the addition is the powerful 1.2 liter turbo engine. They actually talking about the hybrid, which we don't care about. Again, the 2025 Civic Type R doesn't get none of this. Unchanged for the shift into the new model year. Same for the pricing. Now, there's no changes, meaning no bigger brakes, no nothing. You don't get nothing different. But yeah, it's still, this thing is $800 more. And pretty much they saying, you know what? The higher costs are associated with production and logistics. That's typical. They're going to say that, oh, you know what? COVID. People are still, believe it or not, using COVID as a reason why a lot of these cars still cost money, which is ridiculous. But they're doing it, right? Honda blamed part of the upcharge on the higher cost associated with production and logistics taking effect with the 2024 model year. And don't forget, you can only get black or red for that price. Blue, pearl, white, and gray all add another $455. Wow. You got to really want it. You got to really want it. There goes that want versus needing it. You got to really want it. So you got to say to yourself, at least, let's just hope that the dealers don't get too stupid with the markups, but we already know what's going to happen here. You know what I mean? And that's really what's hurting a lot of these cars from being sold. But you know what I mean? It's crazy. Shout to Drake. He said, hell, I'm still using COVID on Con Air. That is it's what it is. It's what it is. You got to start thinking about that. But it's crazy out here. And now you got the Acura Integra Type S. Oh, we got a caller. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Shadow Gamer.
Oh, it's Shadow Gamer. He called up. Let's go. Shadow Gamer. I know you see the title up ahead, and I'm guessing that's why you call it, because you got something you're gonna drop.
Well, funny enough, I actually called about that whole EV thing you was talking about, giving it to the municipalities. I wanted to chime in earlier before you switch segments, but my hands was tied, so I couldn't really.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But I could tell y'all right now that, especially in New York and California, they are switching to EV. Everybody's switching to EV, but you know what's happening that they're not telling you?
Okay.
The higher ups are getting these vehicles. They're driving them. They're running like shit. They're coming back. Oh, sorry.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Go ahead.
So they're bringing them back, and they're taking their older vehicles that are supposed to be, destroyed and gotten rid of out of the fleet. They're taking back their older vehicles and they're returning the EV stuff because they don't want it. They say it's horrible, a horrible charge rate. Last time one of them actually caught on fire. Damn. And so these are things that they're not telling you. Like, they're trying to switch to EV and make all these other little things.
Yep.
But there's still people that are driving them don't want them. They have them for a little bit. It's all cool, and then they realize, like, oh, I can only go from, the job to a call or whatever, and then I got to go back and go charge. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's a novelty.
They can't. Yeah, they can't whip them around like they want to.
Right.
I mean, that's what the city's trying to prevent. But at the end of the day, we're gonna put them through way more abuse than the average customer. And even we're looking at them like, this ain't gonna last long.
Right. And this is exactly what I was saying, which is why they never did it that way that they were supposed to. Because if people could see that the city's using them and it's working for them, they'd be like, oh, you know what? I'll buy one. But they not. They giving it to the people first. They like, oh, here, man, you take this electric vehicle and let us know how it play out. But in the meantime, we're going to charge you $40,000, $50,000. And the average median price is $55,000. The city's doing whatever they can. Let me tell you. Have you seen that they want to start turning the parking meters into charge meters?
No, I haven't.
They want to do that. They want to put charging stations on the side of the curb so that people could park in the regular inner city and charge their car. But what happens to the person who don't want to charge their car? They can't park there neither. Might mess around, get a ticket.
You see, the thing about it is that, all right, we have 12 million people living in the city alone, right? Mm-hmm. We have a total population of, was it like 19 or 21 million in New York State?
Yes.
So we have 12 million people in the city.
Yep.
How many of those people own houses? Maybe like 1 million people, 2 million people.
Right.
If you don't got a house and you got to go to the charging station and there's only 10 charging stations at your local Target, if it's even still open, but that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? You got to wait in line. You got to go to work, right? You got to do what you got to do through life. You're not about to wait 4 hours for this guy to get 50% and be like, yo, all right, you got to get off. Nobody's policing that. That guy going to stay there until he's fully charged.
Wait. Shadow Gamer. I ran into somebody that actually leased a electric vehicle, and he said that there's unwritten rules. Ready for this? Unwritten rules in electric cars culture. I never heard of this before. It's funny you said it, because now I get a chance to talk about it. He said that when you're charging your car, the rule of thumb for everybody, like they little code, is that they only charge the 85%. I said,
but you want to know why, right?
Why?
Because with the superchargers, they charge, I think it's like 30 minutes or like an hour to get to 85%.
Right.
And then everything else after that takes a godly amount of time.
Right.
So what people will do is they'll do a quick charge to 85%.
Right.
And then they'll unplug and go.
Right.
But guess what? If you charge your phone to 85%, it don't last all day. But if you charge it to 100%, it'll last all day. It might last till tomorrow morning, right?
Right.
So that's basically, like, they might follow that rule of thumb, but the people that can charge it 100%, which are going to be the homeowners, right? Uh-huh. They're going to get the longevity out of their vehicle. But these people that live in apartment buildings, they ain't got no choice.
Right.
And that's what they're really trying to push. That's why they want to put it on the side of the street, because if they do that, they can have the people in the apartment building switch to electric, and then they can sit there and be like, oh yeah, it's free charges for now.
Right. And that's yo, Shadow Gamer. This is exactly what we be telling people. And it's like, it's funny. You would be shocked how many DMs I get, or how many people that see the show, and then I talk to them later on in the street, and they like, yo, but what you saying about electric vehicles is all wrong. And I'm like, how? You don't see this?
Listen, this is how you could tell what they're gonna do about electric vehicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go and look up what they're doing with the electric scooters, it's the same exact program that they're going to use word for word verbatim for electric vehicles, especially if you live in an apartment building. Because for all those electric scooters and electric bikes that people have been getting around, and they've been catching on fire,
right?
They've now issued like a specific one that they recognize that, like, if you want to trade in your bike and you can get our bike, and then they have charging docks outside the building where you take your battery out and you shove it in there and you can lock it, and then boom, it charges it to full, and then it stops charging it when it's done.
Yep.
Now that program is free for now. They literally tell you in the report it's free for now.
Yep.
How much is that going to cost now? Because now they got all of y'all in a chokehold, because y'all done traded all y'all e-bikes in, and now you are basically, you need the city to do all that now. Now they can sit there and be like, yo, this charging station will cost you $45.
Wow.
But it was free before. No, well, now you got to pay whatever to charge your bike. Now what are you going to do? You done traded in your $3,000-$4,000 bike that you had, that you could charge wherever you feel like it, and now you stuck with the city charger.
Yep. And you know what we call that, right? That's drug dealer tactics. That's drug dealer tactics. Like, yo, I'm gonna give you this free right here.
I'm gonna give you the taste.
Right. You
and
get
then spin the block.
Yo, that's a drug dealer tactics, huh?
Exactly.
And this is why I say, like, people got to start, like, you got to really see this. Like, if you think that this is about nature, and if you think this is about protecting the environment, but yet and still you have bigger cruise boats being built, more planes, like when you think about it, it's like we are the path of least resistance, which is why they choose people every trip, because as mad as we get, we don't take it to them. Well, that's going to change, because we about to set up to go see this congressman or senator, rather, or congressman in New York City. We gonna set up to go see him, because this exhaust ticket thing that we was talking about before is crazy. And this guy is, and he put it to the point where he doesn't care what it is. He's like, it doesn't matter if the exhaust is stock. If you making noise, you getting hit with an $800 ticket. And this is the kind of people that's in office. They don't live where you live. His name is Keith Powers. He's a council member. Keith Powers. We're going to see him, man. Because at the end of the day, this, and I don't mean that in a violent way. Let me make sure I clear that up, right? Shadow Gamer, before I get shut down. I don't mean see him in a violent way, but I mean, we're going to have to really sit down and talk to this guy like, yo, you know what, man? Why do you feel that $800 is good for that kind of a ticket? $800. Who okayed that? Shadow Gamer, when this thing first started, do you remember that they used to send you the summons? You had to go sit with the sheriff, and they had to test the DB on your car. You remember that?
Listen. Let me tell you. There's a certain precinct that knew me by name. That's how many exhaust tickets I was getting. And the state test standard is that they got to put your car in a dyno in a quiet area, right? Doors open, and the meter had to be a certain distance away from the exhaust. Then you had to take your car, put it up to 30 miles per hour. It didn't matter what gear you were in,
right?
And you had to sit there at that mile per hour for a certain period of time, and then they got the decibel reading, and depending on where you were at was what you got.
Wow.
The state limit is supposed to be 96.6 decibels for cars and 110.5 for bikes, right?
Right.
Of course, obviously, with muscle cars, they're going to look the other way because those things are making way more noise than that.
Yes.
But, you know, us enthusiasts, that's where they really need to be at.
Right.
These guys, especially a lot of police officers and stuff like that, when they pull you over before this whole sound camera ticket, they didn't even know that. A lot of them would tell me, like, for example, one time I got pulled over, they told me, oh, isn't the maximum limit 60 decibels? And I was like, you realize how loud 60 decibels is? Like, you can go in a library that's 60 decibels.
That's
like,
a conversation.
That's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a conversation.
So it's like, think about a truck driving down the block and hitting the J brake. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's loud.
I hear you loud and clear. Trust me. I hear you loud and clear. Word.
So it's like how now, funny enough, think about it. What if a truck drives past that and hits a J brake? He gonna get an $800 ticket?
Hell no. But you know what? We don't know. This is very interesting.
Now, and that's what I'm saying. If a truck driver was to drive down that block and hit the J brake, would he get that ticket? And if that trucker got that ticket, right, you know what's gonna happen. The truckers are gonna be like, oh, I got an $800 ticket for making noise. They'll all drive down there just to be like that. And then when they all got tickets, they'll be like, oh, well, we ain't gonna deliver your stuff no more. Now what? Guess what will happen to that camera? Gone. That's what always happens. When people that are in control of your goods get the shaft, what do they end up doing? All right, we ain't delivering no more. Oh, don't worry about it.
Yep. There you go. And now whatever's left, the price goes up on whatever they don't deliver, right? Like it's like, okay, now a bag of chips went from 25 to 75 or $1 because we don't get as many anymore because they don't come through the city like that.
Exactly.
This is why I say this whole thing is a hustle. And I'm telling you, the more you start seeing things unfold, you say to yourself, it's the people. Listen, the fact that people are still voting these things in is ridiculous. And you got people that's against noise. I hear you. I understand. Why not turn the noise cameras on at a certain time of night?
Exactly.
Why not do that?
But you want to know why they didn't do that? Because the school cameras are running 24 hours and those things are making bank. So they was like, yo, we're not even going to do a time period for the noise cameras. We're going to just make bank all day long. Because really and truly, if you having a party, right, you're supposed to start winding the noise down by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock for noise ordinance.
Right.
Why is there a limit on noise ordinance in that particular area where the camera is, right? Mm-hmm. That early where there's daylight. It's supposed to be between 10, 11 to about, I think 10, 11 the next day.
Right.
So why are you hitting us with tickets like that?
Because I'm going to tell you, man, this is what I'm saying. Like, that's why I say, and then the fact that they won't reveal the locations. Let's try that one. They won't even tell you where they are. As a matter of fact, this one with the Lamborghini, this one with the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, right?
Yeah.
He is they put him on the news, and when they put him on the news camera, the newscaster was standing there, and he pointed to the camera, and the camera, we got a chance to see it for the first time ever.
Yep.
And I think I was like, oh, shoot, that's what they look like? So now that we know what they look like, now we kind of know where they putting them.
Yeah, anybody, as long as everybody's using Waze and you can mark it and then Google could add that to the map, we good. But it's just the fact of the matter, though, is, not for nothing, there's no real way around it because that thing was probably reading mad low, and no matter what, I mean, you can have a broken exhaust pipe, you're getting a ticket. There's no way around that.
That's what I'm saying. It don't even have to be. See, and this is where people go wrong. Now they're like, oh, I don't like all that. I'm like, okay, fine. But let's say, God forbid, something happen. We get NYC potholes. Bow. You crack your exhaust. You drive past this thing, it's going to register you too.
Exactly.
$800 now. So on top of trying to fix your exhaust, here go another $800 ticket. And then the next time, if it's ever a next time, because you know they're going to keep a data sheet about this. $1,500 the next time around.
Yep. And they're going to keep hitting you and keep hitting you. It's going to keep going up and keep going up.
And this is where I say we got to draw the line. This is where
everybody got to vote.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Listen, yo, Shadow Gamer. First off, shout to Shadow Gamer, man, because I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, all of what you just said is the key reason why a lot of these things still persist. It's because at the end of the day, people just, that's my man. You see what your man doing now. And we ain't going to get too crazy into it, but you see what's going on now.
Yep.
They once the feds is on you and they confiscating phones and all that, you got a lot to worry about.
Listen, that man got problems.
He got problems, B.
He got problems. Yo, that's not the only thing on his plate. I don't want to get too much into politics because this is a car show.
Yes,
but
yes.
That man got problems.
Got problems, kid. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is where I say at the end of the day, we gotta really we gotta take back our power from these politicians, man. At the end of the day, we put you there.
Exactly.
But now you turn around.
You work for us.
Right. And you enact these policies that charge me more. Nah.
Yep.
Nah. So with that being said.
Why do you think so many people left New York? And that's why people continue leaving New York.
And California.
New York is not the same New York.
Yeah. And California, man. People are breaking out of there.
Yep.
Telling you. With that being said, Shadow Gamer. First off, shout to Shadow Gamer. I think you might have called one other time.
Like when I first started listening.
Yeah. We appreciate you for the call, and I definitely appreciate the insight. We appreciate it. You already know what it is. We're going to continue on with the show. Thank you for tuning in and calling up, though. I appreciate you 1,000.
Yeah, man. Anytime, yo.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
Later. I'm going to tell you, man, everybody feel the same way. I'm telling you, it's going down. It's happening right in front of you. And if you're not paying attention, they'll have you out here giving up thousands of dollars for stuff that even got nothing to do with your household. But with that being said, you know how we get down, man. We're going to talk about one little more piece of news before we move right on. It looks like Nissan has officially said they're going to rebuild the Nissan Silvia. Now, everybody, unless you don't know what the Nissan Silvia is or was, it was one of the more affordable two-door, I don't want to say sports car, but two-door sports car that was affordable and definitely was a staple of Nissan, along with the Z cars and along with the GTR. Well, it looks like Nissan said that they want to continue on and they want to build. So it looks like that's what they're going to do. But however, they look like they haven't cleared the money yet. They want to do it. And then the thing is, they want to be able to sell it everywhere. Shout to Shadow Gamer. This is what we're talking about. So they want to make it electric because they know in certain places it won't be able to be sold because it's not electric. Crazy. So it looks like if they come out with a Silvia, it's going to be electric. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to be trash. Because now the people who could respect the Silvia is not going to want to buy it. Period. They're not going to want it. When we think Silvia, we think SR20 DET rear-wheel drive, FR car, fun to drift around turns. Don't go away from that. If they do, you're going to get people who not going to want it. Shout to Draco. He said, gonna do like London and make with the souls. Or shout to Shy. He said, even if the truck gets a ticket, them trucking companies gonna mob up to the state house and get them taken down. That's a fact. But this Nissan Silvia, I don't know. I'm not. We gotta wait and see on this one. But I guess the fact that they trying to do it. But if they do it and it comes out electric, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, man, we are here. We are in the building. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. With that being said, we're going to jump right into our, let's see where we going today.
Driver's etiquette. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
Shout out to Shy. He said, how many cameras are in Park Slope, Oceanside, Dumbo? Shout out to my guy, Keith. He told me the location of one, and I went out there and I saw it. And I was like, whoa. Yo, you got to see them. definitely got a video coming up about that because that whole interaction was crazy that day. But with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. Like I said, driver's etiquette. Today's the day. Problems outside them bad. Oh, yeah, he got problems. So, needs versus wants. What do you need to get to your project car versus what you want to make it legendary? I'm always say this, man. You know, if it's a project car and you're working on it, see, the thing is, a lot of these parts cost. We already know that, right? There's a lot of times where you could probably find the part that you need, but it costs so much. And like I said, especially dealing with an older car. If you're dealing with a newer car, you have more of an aftermarket. You could probably get to the thing. You don't got to buy that right then and there. But let's say, for instance, you're dealing with an older car. When them parts pop up, you may have to go get it because there's a good chance it'll never pop up again. So sometimes you got to put the wants ahead of the need. I wanted this. And you know what? If I don't get it now, I'll never get another chance to get it. That can happen. So sometimes the wants do go ahead of the need. There's time, let's say, for instance, even if you're building your engine and you know what? This manifold right here. I want this new manifold, but let's say they stopped making them because of COVID. Somebody put it up for sale, but obviously it costs probably more than it would cost new because they know there's not that many around. Are you going to balk on it? No. You like, yo, you know what? I'm going to get it. So this is what happens. So a lot of times you got to do what you got to do. I hate to say it. You know, it's when it comes to the project car, I will put a want ahead of a need if that want is rare. If that want is rare and you know you're not going to come across another one, it may cost more. You probably could use something else, but you're still going to do it. Now, with a daily, needs only. If I'm driving this thing every day, I need to make sure that it works. So needs only. I'm going to make sure that, tires are right, brakes are right. Your engine is running right. Your transmission is running right. Any little thing you may need for that, a sensor, you may need anything. You're going to make sure you do that because those are needs. Now, with the daily, you're not really going to put the wants on there because then your car becomes wanted. And we all know what happens when your car becomes wanted. Next thing you know, you come out and you don't have it. So think about that. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, I know we only got 10 minutes left in the show. Shout out to everybody who rocked with me, who paid attention. You already know how we get down here. Shout out to Shadow Gaming. That was a very insightful thing that he told us today, man. Definitely going to get interested in here. But with that being said, we're going to jump right into our next segment. You know how we get down here. Today is my turn.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
Ha! So today, like I said, we always give a shout out to the Legends of Auto. Now, Legends of Auto could be cars, it could be people, it could be racetracks, but it could be something that actually added to the automotive world. And I'm going to take it today to the video games. Now, there was one video game in particular that actually inspired me to really, really want to drive, and it was all that I had in the house at the time. And we're going to get into it. The game is called Rad Racer. Yeah, I know I'm aging myself right there. The game came out in 1987. It was also known as Highway Star in Japan. It's a racing video game developed and published by Square for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1987. In this game, the player can either drive the Ferrari 328 or the Formula One race car. And what happens is it's just like, to me, it was almost like a race, but you didn't know the other cars you was racing against. But it definitely was one of my more favorite games. I love this game. I mean, when I say I played Rad Racer, bro, I played Rad Racer, man. I mean, there was other racing games at the time. You had Pole Position, which was actually, it was kind of like that, to be honest with you. When you look at Pole Position, pause is like the way it races and everything, it was like built the same way. But Rad Racer, I thought was better, had better music. You should be able to change your music in the middle of the race or whatever, which is what I love, man. I'm telling you. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. I believe a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. And don't forget, you could drop some of your favorite games in the bottom too over here in the comments. But Rad Racer, still to me, was one of the greatest racing games ever. The game sold 1.96 million copies, and we talking about 1987. and is considered one of the best racing games on the NES, but was criticized as being derivative of other racing games from the period. Reviewers widely compared the game to Outrun, which is another favorite of mine, though, y'all know the music. I love this music. I don't care. I know it sounds so digital now, but I loved it. But that was one of my favorite games ever. And I will say Rad Racer to me definitely was one. And also, if you didn't know, it was one of the first games that you could look at in 3D. At that time, 3D was a big deal. They wanted everybody to buy the 3D glass. You could put on a set of 3D glass and you could drive this game. Not that it changed anything, but it definitely was one of the better games. 3D battles of World Runner. It has so many different names, but it looked like in like I said, in the United States, it was Rad Racer. Had favorable reviews, was one of the top 30 games. And to tell you the truth, if you're looking for the game now, the cartridge itself is actually very rare now. Even though they sold 1.96 million, I guess to find one of them cartridges where you ain't got to make sure that the cartridge work and blow the dust out, pause. Hilarious. But you already know what I'm talking about here. With that being said, man, Rad Racer.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
And if you never played Rad Racer, you playing yourself. You playing yourself. You got to make sure that you get a hold of these old games. I'm telling you, Nintendo cheated hard with that game. They would make sure that you would not win. But definitely was a good game, man. With that being said, you know how we get down, man. We here. We coming towards the end of the show. We're going to make sure that we got a couple other topics we're going to cover. So with that being said.
Mods, the newest and freshest. Modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
Well, to get into this one a little bit, it looks like Liberty Walk is building the world's first manual C8 Corvette drift car. So for those that don't know, the Corvette C8 is the new Corvette that's out right now, right? This is the first Corvette that's mid-engine rear-wheel drive, but it's also not manual. It's not fully manual. What it is you have your clutchless shifting or clutchless transmission. So you have the paddles in the back. But it looks like Liberty Walk is going to build a Chevy Corvette C8 manual. Can't wait to see how they play this out. For those that don't know who Liberty Walk is actually a tuning company that they actually make these great body kits for a lot of expensive cars. They do mounds and classics of other things. But I will say, I can't wait to see how this goes down. Where do they put the shifter? Like, how does this work? Because if they can pull it off, that means that Chevy could have pulled it off. And if Chevy could have pulled it off, would they keep making this car like that? I don't know, man. But can't wait to see it. Liberty Walk is building the first manual C8 Corvette drift car coming to a drift track near you.
Mods, the newest and freshest. Modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
All right, now we're going to get to my favorite part of the show. Obviously, we've come to the end of the show, but this is always my favorite part because we get to ask people this question we always want to know. And you ready for this?
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
All right. Our Understeer is going to have to come on down. You already know what it is. Police catch a man with $100,000 in drugs after he fell asleep behind the wheel of his Tesla in autopilot. I said it. A Tesla driver learned the hard way that, yes, you still need to keep your hands on the wheel in a Tesla, and yes, you really aren't allowed to smoke drugs. The incident happened in Wilson's Mills, North Carolina around 4 p.m. on August 23rd. According to local authorities, they received reports of a driver who appeared to be asleep behind the wheel of a white Tesla that was heading west on US 70. Police eventually caught up with the car and discovered that the driver was indeed asleep behind the wheel of a Model 3 on autopilot. After following for a mile and trying to get the driver to wake up, an officer eventually positioned his cruiser in front of the car to help bring it to a stop. That's when it got crazy. The officer was finally able to wake the driver, a man identified as Michael Goodman, and then performed a field sobriety test. For whatever reason, Goodman gave consent for his car to be searched, and when he did, they found illegal drugs and substances. Police say the total street value of what they allegedly found in the Model 3 was over $100,000. This Goodman fellow has to be the world's worst trafficker. Why consent to a search knowing that you're carrying all of that? But my thing is, if you're going to traffic and you're going to sleep, you might as well just send the car out by itself. Let the car figure out where it got to go. Because that's about as stupid as he was sounding right there. There's no listen. Don't let a smart car make you look stupid. The fact that he was fully asleep with $100,000 in drugs in the car shows that not only is he a bad trafficker, he's a horrible driver.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Sometimes you just got to ask, man. I don't know what some of these people are thinking when they do some of the things they do. And like I said, here at Rally Radio, we don't get you for what you do. We get you for how you get caught doing it. And this dude got caught sleeping behind the wheel with $100,000 in drugs in the back and got the nerve to give them consent to search the car. Ridiculous. But with that being said, man, we are here. We are in the building. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, who rocked with me for this time. Shout to my guy, Miller Time NYC, who's in the building. Shout to Shadow Gamer tuning in, giving us a call. Shout to Shy from the Moon. Shout to Draco. Shout to Darth Spalding. Shout to my guy, Manacho. Shout to my guy, Marley. Shout to Raheem Owen. Shout to my guy, Saint Hilaire. Shout to my cousin, Tony. You already know what it is. We appreciate everybody who tuned in, who rocked with us. Don't forget, at the end of the day, we still got our trip coming up. Well, if you're going, just let me know. Dragon's Tail is coming up October 10th to the 14th. We definitely want to make sure that we have the amount of people who's going. If you're not, or if you are going, let me know. Dragon's Tail, we're going down there for classic Hondas on the Dragon. Should be a great, great, great experience. Definitely want to see some of the classic Hondas out there. You get to drive the road. You know what I'm saying? Shout to my guy, Anthony Green, as well. We appreciate you, my dude, early. Thank you. He said, good show. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, you know how we get down, man. Just want to make sure that everybody's out there staying safe. Do what you do. But bottom line, make sure you wheel in your cars, man. We want to make sure that everybody's out there getting it in, man. Let me tell you, the best thing sometimes to clear your mind is a good drive. Keep that in mind. A good drive could clear your mind. Got to get out the city, though, because I'm telling you, city driving sucks. But definitely help you clear your mind. So with that being said, we appreciate everybody who rocked with us, who came in with us today, who actually tuned in and called up. So with that being said, until next week, we are out. Let's get it.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to plane. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I Shawn, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.